Welcome to a brand new POV street photography video in the city of London using the Canon R6, the 16-35mm, and as well as looking for some typical street photography and architecture photography in this video, we're going to be shooting some stock image photography in the city. We're going to be wandering the streets looking for stock image photos that we can get licensed onto Adobe Stock and earn royalties from it. So not only can you go out there and create some cool street photos, but you could possibly earn royalties at the same time. And I want to thank Adobe Stock for sponsoring this video.
I've just spotted a great use of light and shadow here. You can see the buildings have created like this triangle of light on the floor. So this guy in the suit hopefully walks perfectly in the middle of this light and we can get a nice simple... Yeah, I really like that. We've got this guy on his phone again, all the way in at 35mm, shutter speed 1/2000. Quite nice really. Easy way to start the day. So there's a shot just here using these yellow lines on the floor as leading lines. I managed to get this photo last time I was in London, but I actually deleted the file, so I thought I'm near the area. Let's see if we can get the shot again. We're going to use these yellow lines on the floor which act as perfect leading lines. We're going to go for an f7.1, 6.3 kind of thing so we can get as much in focus as possible. Shutter speed of 1/500. I've tapped on the screen to focus on the walkie-talkie, and then we've got that splash of blue in the sky as well. Hopefully I don't delete this one. I took that exact photo last week and we deleted the file, of course we did. Just going to use the same yellow lines across the road just to see if we can get a little bit of a different composition. ISO 250, f6.3, shutter speed 500. I'm going to change my focus setting to zone area AF and then tap on screen on the gherkin in the distance. All the way out at 16mm, so we're nice and wide. Boom. Another lovely composition here of the walkie-talkie looking up all the way out at 16mm. The sky and the clouds look great. f8, shutter speed 1/500, ISO 200, boom. Love the little street here showing off the gherkin. So if I could just probably zoom in at about 24mm. Really like this composition. ISO 250, f8, shutter speed 1/500, something like that. Not too keen on the van and the cars to the right of me. See what we can do if we get really close to this drain. This is quality, yeah. Settings haven't changed since the last image. Boom, that's kind of nice. Really show the texture of the drain there. It looks great in the foreground. Boom. I like that a lot. Right here, I've just spotted another pop of light across the street. I really like the contrast. So if I just show you a really simple image like that, see the contrast between the light and the shadow? Now what you want to do is wait for a subject to walk through that, and that could make a really nice street image. I really like that image there. Ooh, we've got two people in frame there, that's very nice. I'm loving this composition. If you are enjoying this video and you like how I'm editing these photos, all the images in this video are edited with my presets, so go ahead, link in the description, check them out if you are interested. I appreciate the support. So here we are looking at the famous Tower Bridge. I'm using this railing here to create a leading line. I don't like this pole here on the right, that's kind of distracting, but you can't remove that unless we Photoshop it, so we might have to just deal with that. ISO 200, f10. I'm actually going to lower the f-stop to f8, bump the shutter speed up to 640. Railing in front of me right in the middle of the frame, angle up a little bit all the way out at 16mm. Boom. It's not too bad. It's not amazing, but it's not too bad.
So this image coming up is actually the first image from the day that we can get licensed onto Adobe Stock and earn royalties from it. There are no people, there are no logos, there are no isolated modern buildings. We don't need property release forms, we don't need model release forms. It's a very nice, simple image that we can earn royalties from on Adobe Stock. And I'll explain more about this later on in the video.
ISO 160, boom. As long as there are no logos, no people, nothing obvious in the photo that might need a property release or a model release, we should be good to get that licensed on Adobe Stock. This right here is a classic composition for Tower Bridge here. So I'm just on the stairway that leads up to it. Got the bridge and the stairs that create a nice composition, kind of creates a frame within a frame to take a nice photo of Tower Bridge. So I'm just gonna wait for an empty shot, no people in, boom, really like that.
All right, Right, the wind on the bridge was pretty bad here, so I think it's easier if I just do this voiceover. But there's a nice city skyline shot coming up here, which we can also use on Adobe stock and earn royalties from. Now, because it's a cluster of buildings, we don't need to get property release forms for it. And you might also be thinking, Mike, why have you left a lot of negative space in the top of the photo? Well, I've done that for creatives who might want to license the image. I've left a lot of space for them to add text, add logos, or whatever creative need they need it for, basically. So when you are going out and taking stock image photography, maybe leave a lot of negative space, leave room for creativity, and people licensing it might find that useful.
Clouds do look great, so whether we can license this image or not, I think it's worth just taking a nice photo of the city there. Very cool. So I'm just around the More London place now. I really like the light and how this red building contrasts with everything else as well. So look at the texture on this here. Take an interesting look-up shot here. Lots of shapes and stuff. This looks very cool. I like this a lot. It's like a Illuminati triangle in the middle. All the way out at 16mm. F5, shutter 1500, ISO 100. Boom. That was cool. I like that a lot.
Onto London Bridge for this next shot, and you can see that I'm just getting a variable ND filter out, so I can go down a couple of stops, maybe 3 or 4 stops for this photo. And I want to get a long exposure of the busy people walking across the bridge, and I want to blur them out. This way we can license this image on Adobe stock because people's faces are not recognizable and we won't need any model release forms for it. I like the idea of also getting a cluster of buildings in the background. So we've got some long exposure of some people in the foreground, the buildings in the background. It's a nice, simple image that we can get licensed on Adobe stock and earn royalties from.
A few weeks ago when I was in London, I took a cool long exposure shot of the Shard with a bus going by, and it looks real sleek. I'm going to try and recreate that image, but obviously on this POV because I didn't film it last time, so kind of show you the process of what I did. Probably a shutter speed of half a second again. I'm doing this handheld, so I could probably only get away with half a second shutter speed. We're going to go all the way in at 35mm. F11. Oh, that's kind of cool. Now we just need to wait for a red bus to go by. We've got a bus coming in frame now. F11, half a second shutter speed. Framing the Shard in the right third of the photo. Let's see what we can get here, so we can get a couple of different images. Ooh, they're kind of nice. I kind of want to wait a little bit later than that though. Alright, we've got a single decker bus here. So this one's not as large, but probably still make for a good photo. So I'm going to wait until the bus leaves frame a little bit. Ooh, that's kind of nice. That's not too bad, I don't mind that at all. Okay, but now we've got 3 London buses, which I'm not sure this is going to work with 3 buses. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully I've got to time this right. Another bus here. I'm just going to take loads of images, why not? And then another London bus. Let's have a little flick through those images. Oh, really cool actually. There we go. There's a couple of bangers in there. Just throw a little edit on that. Not too bad. Got to thank the film. We're certainly hitting all the main spots today. I'm sure everyone will recognise this angle of St. Paul's, because I've definitely taken this image once or twice. I think the settings I was already on are pretty much perfect. Shutter speed 200, f5, ISO 400. Oh, that's great. Simple as that. We're not going to hover around here because I literally take this image every time I'm in London by the looks of it. So, boom. Very easy. Just get a really nice wide perspective on it as well. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Alright, jobs are good. Let's move on. Now, because we are keeping an eye out for stock imagery today, I think red phone boxes just scream British architecture, don't they? So why not take a simple photo of it? And any web developers, designers, creatives might want to license it. Nice, simple photo. Shutter speed 125. Let's go f2.8 and then we can kind of blur out the background. ISO 320. Let's wait for this person. Boom. Very nice. Now you might be thinking, Mike, why are you bothering to take a photo of a phone box when St. Paul's is right in front of you? And I would say to that, good point, let's take a nice photo of St. Paul's, because, I mean, look at it, St. Paul's looks great. I actually really like that photo that I just took there. Used the leaves to create a nice frame. It's a frame within a frame, isn't it? So let's get close to these white lines on the floor, just to act as some leading lines. Oh, that's nice. Don't think I've shot St. Paul's with this composition before. Maybe even f5.6, ISO 320, frame it, something like that. Not a banger, but it's not terrible. We've got a London bus here. Let's quickly throw the shutter speed to 1/5, ISO to 100. It's always nice to remember to shoot some landscape images as well. So we're going to shoot this at around 20mm, f13, half a second shutter speed, ISO 100. Let's see what that looks like anyway. It's not amazing, but I actually quite like that. That's not bad at all.
So let's now discuss how we can get some of the photos we've taken in this video and get them licensed onto Adobe Stock and start earning some royalties for our photos that we're taking. As I've mentioned throughout this video, Adobe Stock allows other creatives, designers, web developers to go onto Adobe Stock, license and download content. As much as I would recommend for you to go ahead and check that out, I'm actually recommending you this as an Adobe Stock contributor. If you're a photographer watching this video, why not get your photos uploaded onto Adobe Stock so you could possibly be earning some royalties from it? Submitting your photos onto Adobe Stock is super simple. You could even do it directly from Lightroom. Some quick tips for your street photography and city photography stock images that you might want to license. You can't use individual isolated buildings, for example. You would need a property release. So if it's some modern architecture, you would need a property release to get that licensed. However, you can shoot a city landscape, a skyline photo. If it's a cluster of buildings, you're all good and that should be fine to license. Once you've uploaded your photos onto Adobe Stock, they'll go through an approval process. If accepted, you can then earn royalties from your photos that would otherwise just be sat on a hard drive. So why would you not? I hope this has tickled your taste buds a little bit and you're interested in getting your photos licensed on Adobe Stock. Check out the link in the description to get started. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. Please go ahead, click that big red button, click like, share your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.